All right, let's get right into it. If you feel like you're constantly churning out content, but it's just not moving the needle, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to talk about how to stop writing randomly and how to start turning your content from a chore into a real profit-generating machine for your business. And yeah, let's just start with the brutal truth, right? Most company blogs, they fail. And it's not because the writing is bad or because they're not publishing often enough. Nope, they fail because they treat content like a diary, just a collection of random thoughts, instead of what it should be, a strategic business tool. So I want you to really ask yourself this. When you hit that publish button, are you executing a clear, thought-out strategy? Or are you kind of just closing your eyes, crossing your fingers, and praying that somebody, somewhere, finds it? Hey, if it's the latter, don't sweat it. You're not alone, and we're about to fix that right now. Here it is. This is the single biggest aha moment you can have with content. See, the pros don't start with, what should I write about today? No way. They start with the sale they want to make, and then they work backward from there, building a perfect path of content to meet a customer at the exact moment they need a solution. It completely flips the normal process on its head. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to dig into the psychology of traffic. What makes people click? Then we'll break down the super powerful hub and spoke model for organizing everything. After that, we'll get into the good stuff, turning readers into actual leads. And finally, we'll talk about how to measure what really matters. Let's do this. First things first, traffic. You know, the biggest trap we all fall into is chasing volume. We see a keyword with 10,000 searches a month, and our eyes light up. We think, I've got to rank for that. But honestly, that's the wrong way to think. We have to get out of the mindset of more clicks and into the mindset of the right clicks. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. Look at this. Not all traffic is created equal. The person searching what is accounting, that's a student. They're just curious. Yeah, it's a high-volume search, but there is zero commercial intent there. But the person searching best accounting software, oh, that person has a problem and they are ready to spend money to solve it. Your entire strategy needs to be obsessed with attracting that ready buyer. And the way you do that is by mapping your content to what's called the buyer's journey. So at the awareness stage, they know they have a problem, but they have no idea what the solution is. In the consideration stage, they're starting to look around, comparing their options. And finally, at the decision stage, they're ready to pull the trigger. A winning content strategy has pieces tailor-made for every single one of these phases. And this right here, this is the whole point. It all comes down to this. When you write an article that solves a very specific, very painful problem for your ideal customer, you get something priceless. You earn their immediate trust. And trust, my friends, is the only currency that really matters online. It's the essential first step to any sale. Okay, on to our second part. To earn that trust and become an authority, you have to stop thinking of your blog as a diary that you just add to every week. You need to start thinking bigger. You need to build an organized, comprehensive library of your expertise. And the absolute best way to build that library is with what we call the hub and spoke model. It's pretty simple, really. You have one massive central guide on a core topic. That's your hub. And then, branching off from that hub, you have dozens of more specific deep dive articles. Those are your spokes. So your hub page, this is your cornerstone piece, your flagship. Think of it as the ultimate guide to small business accounting. It's huge. It covers every aspect of the topic from a bird's eye view, acting as the definitive go-to resource. Now, the spokes are where you really get into the nitty-gritty. Each spoke takes one small concept from the hub and just explores it in exhaustive detail. So that big accounting hub might link out to spokes like how to choose the right invoicing software or a simple guide to quarterly tax payments. See? These are the articles that solve those very specific, very painful problems we were talking about. And when you build your content this way, two truly magical things happen. First, you're basically screaming at Google, hey, we are the authority on this topic, which does wonders for your rankings. And second, you create this sticky little world for your readers. They click from a spoke to the hub and back to another spoke, staying on your site longer and building massive confidence in your expertise with every click. Okay, so you've done the work. You've got the right traffic coming to your perfectly organized content library. Awesome. But that's really only half the battle. Now, we've got to turn that anonymous reader into an actual tangible lead. This is the question where so many content plans just fall apart. It's heartbreaking, really. You did all that hard work to get the click, the person loves your article, and then they just leave. Poof, gone forever. That's a massive waste. Every single piece of content you create must have a clear next step. And here's what that path looks like. It's a simple funnel. 1. You attract them with a great article. 2. Within that article, you offer them something even more valuable, a downloadable checklist, a template, a guide, in exchange for their email. 3. You capture that email address. And 4. You now own your traffic. And that's the real power here. When you have their email address, you are no longer a slave to the whims of the Google algorithm or the Facebook newsfeed. You can reach your audience directly on your own terms. You've built a real asset for your business that nobody can ever take away from you. All right, our final section. How do we even know if any of this is working? This brings us to measurement and the crucial difference between the metrics that make us feel good and the metrics that actually pay the bills. This slide just makes it so clear. Over on one side, you've got the vanity metrics, the likes, the shares, the page views. They feel good, right? It's like a little sugar rush for our ego. But what actually pays the bills are the business metrics over on the other side. How long are people staying on the page? Are they bouncing right away? And the most important question of all, what percentage of them are converting into leads? That's what you need to be obsessed with. And this is the ultimate mindset shift I want you to have. An article that gets a ton of traffic but generates 0 leads is not a success. Let me repeat that. It is not a success. It is a problem. It's a puzzle you need to diagnose and solve. Maybe you're attracting the wrong people, or maybe your offer is wrong, but it's a problem, not a win. So let's bring this all home with this one simple idea. Think of it this way. Traffic is just the fuel you pour into the tank. Your amazing content is the engine that runs on that fuel. But without a strategy, a real conversion strategy, you're just an engine revving loudly in a parking lot, going nowhere. Strategy is the destination. And when you really adopt this whole mindset, your role totally transforms. You stop being just a writer who's trying to fill a calendar. You become something so much more powerful. You become the architect of a growth engine for your business. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to really reflect on. Go look at your content plan right now. Is it just an expense line on a spreadsheet, a list of chores you have to get done? Or is it a strategic asset, deliberately designed, piece by powerful piece to grow your business? The choice and the power is all yours.